So good morning and welcome to today's episode of That's What She Said. So with us in the studio today is Anni Poppen. Please welcome Anni Poppen of Mowgli Studios here in Champaign. And this is really, really special because Anni is has been with the She Said team from pretty much the beginning, building the live stage show, building the presence and the marketing and the branding of She Said, and really driving the mission forward. And so, Kerry, Anni, how are you guys doing this morning?
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's like I love Anni Poppen from day one. I have had a girl crush on Anni, so I know it's true. Everybody
Watch out,
does.
Jim.
To know her is to love her.
Have you ever acted out on it?
But no, I haven't. No, I haven't. No. But I love the day that we met. I mean, it really was meant to be.
It's the day that Kerry had to embrace the word serendipity, and she hates that word.
I hate that word because things just happen, and then people are serendipitous. It always, when you say that word, you just like, oh, seriously.
Okay, see
really?
now you're getting ready to offend some people.
I'm sorry.
serendipity.
Oh, I love serendipity too.
I do now-ish because it kept slapping me in the face. I kept saying, it's not a thing, it's not a thing.
So a thing.
And it apparently is a thing. So you got to tell the first day we met.
So I was coming back from lunch. I was working at Cranert Center at the time, and I'm just walking to the lobby, and I see like 3 women dressed in awesome clothes, the best shoes ever, talking to a coworker friend, Lisa Lillig, and I don't know what's happening. All I hear Lisa say is, one of you said, we need a graphic designer. And so I kind of hid behind the kiosk to learn more what was happening.
Was it like one of those moments in life where you're just going about your business and you hear a voice and you everything stops?
It was
and you have to pay attention. Yes,
yeah,
right.
yeah. Well, and the shoes. I was just like, wow,
and the shoes.
And then all of a sudden I heard what they're speaking about, and then I just turned around and said, I'm a graphic designer. And we sat down right then and there, had a meeting, and I was in the process of doing my first year before I started my business, the year before my business started. That was weird. I donated 1 month of design to one nonprofit per month, so I had 12 months of free design. And That's What She Said was one of them, and obviously it's lasted a little bit longer than 1 month.
She gave us 30 days. We aren't a nonprofit, and she gave us 30 days. And we're now coming up on 4 years.
She gave you 30 days and 4 years of her life, right? Something like that?
Right. That was the small print. But it really was
in a good way.
We were having this powwow, we're going to do a show. And I remember saying, the words came out of my mouth, we're going to need a graphic designer. And then, boop. I'm a graphic
the clouds
designer.
Parted,
yes.
And the angels sang, and there was
Anni Poppen. Yeah, and her name is Anni Poppen. I mean, there's just no better name. Anni Poppen is here. Yeah, I mean, it just it was a great.
Everyone just calls me Annie. It's definitely
Anni
Poppen.
Poppen. Yeah,
Which I love.
It's a good name. Good name.
Thank you.
It's serendipitous. So let's hear about your business. So it was after you guys met that you launched your own freelance graphic design company?
It was, to add to the beauty of That's What She Said, it actually was my last day at Cranert to start my business was the week of the very first That's What She Said show. And so the day after. The last moment for me at Cranert was being on stage, performing and doing backstage stuff for That's What She Said, my client who was then going to become one of my major reasons of starting this business, at the place I was working that got me to the point where I could start a business. It was just this beautiful moment. All these
take
days.
that serendipity, biatch. Take that.
I'm open to it. It could be.
So now, from what I know about you and your business, you like to empower people. You like to work with people, particularly strong women who are trying to make a difference.
Yes.
And obviously, you felt some attraction to the She Said team. I want to hear about that. I want to hear about how your visions were aligned and how you had this magic connection and why you think you were meant to work together.
Well, the meant to be stuff, I'm so skeptical of that stuff, but again, it keeps hitting me in the face. But it did seem like Anni and I found out we lived a block away from each other.
Oh my gosh, that was during the very first meeting. And you said, I'm going to do this
no.
bit called Naked on Healy Street. And I'm like, I live on Healy Street. And then she shows this picture of her, like, sidekicking.
Can we get a shot of that? Can we get a shot of that picture right now? Ah, yes, there it is. There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
In all its glory.
For you.
In all its glory.
Sorry you had to see that.
And it's right in front of my house. The one time I wish I was home looking out the window.
Oh,
I wasn't.
Or not.
Serendipity.
Yeah. So those things are happening. We just kept finding these things that all of us were in the same neighborhood and all had these goals of doing big kind of entrepreneurial stuff for ourselves and ultimately for each other. Mm-hmm. It was great. And I would say that's kind of part of what I do. So I guess my elevator pitch is marketing and design for pivotal nonprofits and socially responsible businesses. And my goal is really just community building, doing things that are just uplifting one another, things that are I'm looking for the change makers. And so I design better and I do better work for people who are passionate about what they do and are excited about making a difference. And that fires me up.
It was, and that was Annie in the beginning. I used to say, like, everything that you see that is pretty, it has Anni Poppen behind it. She could take.
Tell us about that. Like, what did she create? That
as
was
a graphic
part of,
designer, I could say I like to use a lot of the wordy words, and I would just blah 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 blah. This is what I want. This is what I knew what I wanted things to feel like, and then Annie would just like, let me just take that right out of your head. And make it, and then she would make sort of what was in my head and what I wanted it to feel like, and she would make it happen, whether it was a postcard or program, anything visual or on the line, as my mom would say, anything on the line. It all had Annie's name on it.
Annie, tell us about you, where you're at in life, because we all are at different stages in life, and that's important that we understand perspective of the women that we talk to. Yeah, where are you at? And I know some things about you, but share with our friends.
This marks my 20th year in Champaign-Urbana. I came here for vet school and worked at That's Entertainment, which just went out of business last year. Through the process of life, instead of doing chemistry and vet med stuff, I ended up going into graphic design. That's a really long story, so I won't go into it. But and so I worked on my own for the first few years and won a couple awards, and I got recognized by Al Fleener, who runs Surface 51, and I was their first full-time employee and worked there for a handful of years. And then from there I went to Cranert Center, and now I'm running my own business, and that's it. I couldn't be more grateful for that path and more grateful for what I'm doing right now.
And you're an animal lover,
huge animal lover,
as I can tell from your once chosen career path, and a vegan.
Yeah,
and that's a pretty big commitment in life.
It's once you are vegan, it doesn't seem like a big commitment because it's so much not about the food, and it's more about who you're standing up for. And so the way you look at food and the way you look at how you consume things changes drastically. It's more of a big deal of integrating with family functions, special occasions, pretty much anything that involves food, definitely. And the onslaught of the same 10 questions you get asked when you're vegan, like, where does your protein come from? Just it's like the same place where
what do you eat?
Cardboard. Mm-hmm. No, it's just, and I appreciate it when those things come in question form, because to me that's a moment that I can connect with somebody. Right. But often it's not a question form. It's somebody telling me, well, you're not getting enough this, and it's more of I'm telling you the facts, and I'm like, well, we're not having a conversation anymore. You're just criticizing my way of life, and so that's usually when I stop having the conversation. That's been my way to learn through the difficult parts of being vegan, or being any part of my life that could be considered not controversial, but interesting in a way that's hard to explain.
I think whatever it is, fill in the blank whenever you're talking with someone.
Something personal.
And you say something personal, you can usually tell pretty quickly if someone, their body language, if it's a,
that's interesting.
Interesting.
Curious.
Which is what I say. Whenever someone says something that I don't agree with and I'm trying to bite my tongue, I often say, interesting. Now my secret's out. If I think you're a jacked up mess, interesting. Yeah. But you can kind of read it, I'm sure.
And it was definitely because of becoming vegan that I learned the dynamic of a conversation and what I'm willing to put my energy into and what I'm willing to step back from, because it's not going to do anybody any good to know that much detail. I mean, it's personal. It'd be like asking somebody why they're a certain religion and then telling them why being that religion is wrong. And that's really what happens when 9 times out of 10, I don't know, a lot of times when you tell someone you're vegan, or I don't know, the joke is always like, you'll never have to ask somebody if they're vegan because they'll tell you. And it's like, no, usually the situation is that I have no choice but to tell you, because if I don't...
Because someone's putting food in front of you.
Exactly.
And it's
something's happening where I'm like,
eat.
let's just cut to the chase. I'm vegan, so let's shift gears here, instead of being like, well, I'm vegan. Like, there's no superiority kind of thing. If that were the case, I wouldn't be vegan. I mean, at this point, it's because I feel like my worth is no different than the worth of the animals. So I don't consider it a superiority thing.
So, Annie, you're a thriving member of this community. You're obviously very involved in various organizations, including She Said. Tell me, do you have a favorite story or memory of your 20 years here in Champaign-Urbana?
I do. It's actually one of my favorite stories to tell of all times. And appropriate, because it took place at Mike and Molly's, which is closing this summer. Another epic thing from my love of Champaign-Urbana. It was the summer that I was making my own clothes because I was so poor, and I had made these wrap skirts that were full length, and they were beautiful. I loved them. You get these fun fabrics whenever, and I'd wrap them like twice and then tie it with a tank top and go. And I'm at Mike and Molly's with my friend Laura, and we're chatting, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom, so I go to the bathroom, and it has to be late at this point because it's, well, as you'll find out. So I'm waiting in line, and the 2 girls in front of me pull me into the bathroom, and they're wasted, and I'm just like shocked. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this, and I'm scared because I don't want to look stupid or uncool.
Right.
Because apparently leaving the bathroom at that point makes you a dork. I don't know.
I got this. I'm here.
Yeah.
And they proceed to go to the bathroom and then chat and wait for me to go to the bathroom, and then we all leave, and I bolt, like I get out of there, and I go back to talk to my friend Laura, and let me set the scene here. I'm standing, my friend Laura's right in front of me, 2 of our guy friends are on either side, and behind Laura is the cutest bartender in all of Champaign-Urbana out for a drink, and I am majorly crushed out on him, right? And somebody walks up, and we're chatting, and they say, I love your skirt. And I go, thank you. I made it myself. And as I went like this, my skirt fell off. And I somehow catch it, like in each hand, because I must have felt it, like, moving. And I hold it, and it gets worse. It was laundry day, and so all I had left were, like, my holy pair of Mickey Mouse underwear.
Hey!
At least I had underwear on, but it was, like, the worst pair.
Oh!
And I'm like holding this under. My friend Laura drops to the ground in pure laughter, and now I'm standing there, tank top, skirt, and Mickey Mouse underwear, staring directly at the cutest bartender in all of
Is he
Champaign.
looking?
Oh, yeah, he's looking and laughing. Everyone's laughing. I am mortified, but all I can do is laugh at this point. And then, like, if that doesn't get, like, if that's not the end, like, I walk out into the beer garden, and my stepsister at the time lived in Champaign, and I almost said lived in the beer garden.
Lived in the beer garden.
And she was out there, and she had got the entire beer garden to sing M.I.C. See you really soon. K-E-Y.
Why? Because we like you. Let's finish it, ladies. M-O-U-S-E.
Yeah, and that is my favorite Champaign-Urbana story of
Thank you so much for sharing. I don't know why we didn't start with that. We had plans of doing an episode of Most Embarrassing Moment, and now I feel like we just did. Thank you. Thank you for that
kickstart
topic.
that topic.
Yeah.
That is a great story.
I love that story.
So where do you want to go from here? What is the future for Mowgli Studios?
I'm actually, my house is for sale right now. So if anybody needs a house, it's an amazing neighborhood with Miss Kerry. And the goal is to...
She's in denial.
I'm just going to say out the next part.
So sweet. My goal is to move to Savannah, Georgia. I'm going to be closer to my mom and her side of the family. I love that Amanda's shaking her head behind the camera.
See?
So obviously when we find something this golden and beautiful, we want to hold on to it and we want to keep her in this community. But sometimes you have to let your little baby birds fly. Carrie,
It's a very difficult decision, and I still have it go, the decision goes through my head every day, because it's been 20 years. That's some incredible years, and so much change that happened in those years. So, I consider Champaign-Urbana my home, my definite home. I was not born here, but it's my home.
Being part of the She Said team from the beginning, you helped create this event, this concept, this momentum that has really taken Champaign-Urbana by storm. And last year, you launched Ladyfest, which was really your brainchild.
Yeah, that was my baby.
So, that was a whole new layer, a whole new, value add to That's What She Said. So tell us about where that idea came from.
Ladyfest came from kind of all the things I've done in this community coming together in one effort. So I knew that the show where it's at right now couldn't be something for kids, and it couldn't be something during the daytime. And I just wanted there to be, I wanted to expand the audience, the involvement, the volunteers, the efforts, to include women of all ages in Champaign-Urbana. And so Ladyfest, the goal was to have workshops and events happening for women of all ages and different prices, so it just could reach everyone, and bring in businesses that were run by women so that it would spotlight them. And it happened, and it was really, it was a lot of work, but it was really easy, if that makes sense. Put a lot of time into it, but the community wanted it. They were looking for something like this, and so they jumped on, and they made it happen, and they made it what it was. So I'm really proud of it, yeah.
And we're excited that this year in October we'll be having the second annual Ladyfest, so your vision will live on, whether you are still here in the community or have moved on to your next endeavor. I think Ladyfest is here to stay, so thank you for that creation. Power to you, girl.
I know, it's nice and dramatic.
Cheers, girls. Cheers. Okay, ding, ding.
Thank you.
So we have had so much fun here today catching up with one of the best, Anni Poppen. She Said has come a long way, and she was a huge part of that. So thank you guys for joining us, and until next time, that's what she said. She said it.
She said it. She made it.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. This time
that's what I said.
It really was what she said.
It is what she said. For today's episode, a special thanks goes to Bank Champagne for the She Said studio, Texture Home for our lovely set, and our coffee sponsor, Columbia Street Roastery. Thanks so much.